Okay, let's continue with these variation options. This is a really important part of using this melody editor. And the variation options are found by right-clicking on the Thunderbolt icon. So every time you hit the Thunderbolt, it creates a new variation. We know that. So I've developed a little workflow here that I think is going to be useful for a lot of you, and basically here it goes. Let's just begin with listening to this this melody that I just produced. And by the way, I didn't make any. This is purely out of the software. I didn't make any variations. I did nothing to this. The software generated this 100%. Okay, to my mind, that's a very usable melody. It's pretty lyrical, and a lot of the I can hear this being kind of useful in the context of a song, where the notes of shorter duration are going to be certain syllables, and then the longer duration notes, like we've got one dotted half note there. The song would start out with a word, something like "Gone is, gone, you're forever," something like that. Okay, you get the general idea. Excuse the singing. In any event, so here's the workflow I think is going to work. So I like this. What the computer's produced here, the melody editor rather. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on this, and I'm just going to look at the settings. Now I think, as far as I can tell, the key settings are under rhythm. Okay, and we can look at this setting here, and we've got straight, and in the rhythm setting, one of the probably the most important setting, or the one that you're going to tweak more often than not, is the complexity. Okay, that's kind of the go-to decision. So this melody that you just heard has a setting of 0 to 50 with subdivision. So what I would do, I go over to this heart-shaped icon, and this allows me to save this setting. Okay, so let me show you that. So what you do is, right now I've got 4 settings in here. Be careful not to hit these X's, because if you do those, you lose the setting. So what we're going to do, I've got a little kind of formula here. So it's 4 bar, all right, then comma. We're using the subdivision, comma, and then I'm just going to put in the complexity, which is 0 to 50 complex. So this gives me some kind of hint when I look at this setting. When I look at these presets, I have some kind of idea of what kind of melody it's going to produce. Okay, so that's the whole idea. Maybe you can come up with a good, some type of good formula for writing these things out. I mean, there's not enough room to write everything that you're using. You don't want to, make this melody preset like 80 characters long, and I'm not sure, I don't know what the limit is, but you've got to be able to see it in the box. So this is about as big as I can make them without them extending past the box, in which case they're useless because I can't read them. Okay, you want to be able to read these things so you can select, get in the ballpark. So again, I have 4 bar. I'm using subdivision and the complexity. So if we go back here and we look at the rhythm, I didn't indicate straight, so I'm gonna consider straight the default. All right, so we don't need to put straight in if that's what we're using as the default. So the complexity is here, the density. So I put 0 to 50. That's important. So that is in the preset name. And then the method is important too. That's the subdivision. So I've got the density or the complexity. I call it complexity in the name. I have 0 to 50 complex. You could just use density, might even be better. Maybe a shortcut would be 0 to 50 DEN. Okay, that's probably better than my preset name. So I like that. 0 to 50 DEN. That tells you in just 3 letters. That's good. Maybe you could use, so for subdivision, you could just SUB. That would be a good shortcut. And then maybe you even have enough room to put in another thing. So we've got, at least we've got the density and the method. The rhythm up here we're going to use straight. We're going to use as default, so we won't put that in. And then on the global, we did include 4 bars, but I didn't put in the melody variety or the rhythm variety. That I don't have, nor the range. Okay, as I said, you can't get everything in there, but just for your own workflow, create some kind of system so that you've got some useful presets up here. That's the whole point. And you can see I can go to 2 bar and boom, I mean, this is really fast, right? I mean, that's great. And then I can hit it again and play around with this preset. In other words, the settings in the generation options are remaining the same, and we can just keep hitting the Thunderbolt until we get something we like. Okay, that's the workflow. Okay, so that was a 2 bar. That's the only 2 bar preset I have, but I can go to this. So I have a 4 bar 4/4 time. By the way, the 4/4 means time, and probably it'd be easier to leave that out and just include, if you're going to do something in 3/4, then you can put it in. Otherwise, 4/4 I guess is the default. So I would skip that. Okay. So yeah, that's the general idea. Let's do it one more time. Create one more preset just so we get it. So here we got rhythm, and let's do a density of 25 to 50. I don't think we have that. Okay, let's do a density of 25 to 50, and we'll just leave the other settings. So we've got 25 to 50 straight subdivision, and then we'll leave these settings. We'll do 2 motives, or 2 variety at 2 and rhythm at 2. Let's see what we get. Okay, that's pretty boring. Let's try it again. Sounds like Happy Birthday. That's better. Okay, so this could yield some interesting little motifs. Yeah, I'll go with that. That's useful enough. So we're gonna make what do we want to include? Density 25 to 50, we want to include that. We'll put sub for subdivision. Straight is a default, we won't include that. We're not going to include 4-4 because we said most of them are going to be in 4-4, so let's just we'll only put in the time signature when we're in 3-4. And I'm not going to include the variety there. I don't think there's enough room. So we go to our preset, right? And we just type in what we got there. So it's a 2-bar, and that's important. Okay, we do want to have that. Sub, we said we're just going to put sub for subdivision, and then our 25 to 50 DEN. Okay, and there it is. Okay, so that's our preset. Now, don't forget, and it took me a while to get in the habit of this, but you got to hit save. Okay, if you don't hit save, it won't be there. But now it's there. There it is. 2-bar sub 25% DEN. So we can go to a different preset. This one is, this one's 4-bar, right? There you go. All right. And we can go back to the one we just created, and there it is, the 2-bar. Okay. So that's now we've covered melody presets, which I think are really key to this generation options menu, because you don't want to go in there. I mean, that's a lot of you don't want to have to go in there every time and start tweaking these generation options. It's just so much easier to have, let's say 20 or 30 of these things, and then they're going to be under this list, and you can decide, do I want 2-bar or 4-bar or 8-bar, and you'll look at these, the density settings, and do you want syncopation or that type of thing, and you'll just select one, and boom, you start hitting the Thunderbolt icon, and until you get something good. And I found hitting it 2 or 3, 4 or 5 times at the most, 1 out of 5 has been useful. Okay, so okay, so I'll see you in the next video. I hope that was I hope that this video on the workflow, the presets, and the settings, and the I keep forgetting the name of this, the generation options setting menu. I hope that works out well for you. Okay, all right, see you in the next video.